Welcome to Enlightened AF. I'm Tricia Carr.
And I'm Aidan Demarest.
And I'm really excited to be here today because I have one of my most favorite people in the world who is joining us today. Aidan was making fun of how I wrote the show description, but I'll let you.
The wild and wacky world of mediumhood.
It's not mediumhood.
What do you mean? We're in the mediumhood.
We have on our show the natural born intuitive energy healer, psychic medium, spiritual teacher, Kellie Anne Nelson. Hi, Kellie.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, guys. Oh, g'day from down under.
That's for real.
Yeah.
She just said g'day.
G'day. We got a real g'day.
But y'all really do say that, right? You really do say g'day, right?
Yeah, there's tones in it, though. So it's like, g'day, mate. So it's how you say it. But yeah, we do.
Well, I'm from Texas, and people always say howdy, partner. Nobody says howdy nor partner in Texas. No one's ever said that.
Come on, they do.
No, they don't.
That's a thing.
And it's not howdy. If you say anything, you say howdy.
So in Boston, we rarely say we pack the can have it yard.
But apparently everything they say
that's rarely said
about Aussies is true.
You can't pack your can have it yard.
Kellie and I have this wonderful, adorable friend who she's a beautiful, luminous being, and she's an American. And we were talking about doing something at Christmas time, and she said to Kellie, "When is your Christmas?"
Yeah, that's what I would say. What did you say? What did you say that they are into? She's in the future right now, right?
Right. Well, technically, that's right. Their Christmas is a day before ours.
I feel like this is a cyber date, Kellie, me and you, because we have never met in person, right?
You're so handsome. So
see,
She's psychic. She knows how to.
She's a sexy
stroke
psychic.
Your ego.
She's a super sexy psychic.
She can read your field right away and know exactly how to become your best friend.
How do you know she's just not reading my DNA?
She's just reading your face.
Fact, right? There's my first question for mediumhood.
It's not mediumhood, everyone.
I'm coining the phrase.
So
like mixology, now it's mediumhood.
So Kellie is an intuitive. She is a spiritual teacher and an intuitive coach, but she is an amazing medium. Like evidence
It's a beautiful day in the mediumhood.
Like evidence is crazy. I mean, really. I don't know if I've met a finer, more accurate, more precise medium, but it's more than just mediumship because it's reading the whole field. So she's actually I've hired her and worked with her before.
Okay.
Yeah, and even though we're very close friends and colleagues, but the information that she brings through, Kellie, for example, we worked together. I think it was almost a year ago now, right? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
About
Absolutely
a year.
My honor to work with you.
And I remember a big thing that Kellie picked up was about all of the audio, like so far as my career concerns, audio and putting out audio. So here's this second show has come along. And then just other things keep coming up, producing meditations and doing different things with audio and doing things with the voice. So yeah, she's amazing. So
nice.
Aidan, I don't know. What do you don't know Kellie, so
no.
Why don't you
do you want me to launch right into the koala issue that they have down there?
Oh no.
Because I had a very real issue going on that I wanted to discuss.
Go ahead.
Since it was Australia and you're an intuitive. And I have heard tons of issues happening with the koalas, right? That they're just rampant with syphilis.
Syphilis?
Yeah.
Is it syphilis, Kel?
Chlamydia.
Ah, see? Those little whores.
They don't.
That's the thing, right? So there's a self-esteem issue happening with the koalas.
Self-esteem? Why?
They're spreading it around.
Why would it be self-esteem?
They're just throwing it around. They've all got chlamydia.
How did they get chlamydia? And
they only can get it one way.
No.
You don't get chlamydia from sneezing on someone.
What, Kel?
I believe it's not a self-esteem issue. I mean, there's only some types of eucalyptus that they can eat because the toxicity levels are so high in all the others, but that's why they sleep all day, because they're high all the time. So what better else to do when you're high is to mate.
Oh, they are stoners. They're chilling and Netflixing.
They're so your kind of animal.
They are Netflixing and chilling on eucalyptus and getting it on all over the place.
And then they just go do it.
And they get chlamydia all over the place.
But it's so weird because chlamydia, I do wonder if other mammals have chlamydia. Or
I like
have
it's my
STDs.
go-to for Australia. That was my this is Kellie what I needed to know from you tonight was how we can get a handle on this.
And are they promiscuous?
Well, shut up.
What?
Well, not that I've encountered.
Some have turned you down.
Whole nother party.
Well, no, the thing is, like,
how would you know if they were promiscuous?
well, because like bonobo chimps are promiscuous. Do you know about bonobo chimps?
No.
Oh, bonobo chimps are, you would love to look at video of bonobo chimps. Bonobo chimps are, well, first of all, what's interesting is they're female alpha, that they're, the girls rule the roost. They hardly ever actually have conflict where they fight because they just start fucking. They start to get a little tense with one another, and they'll just lie down and start doing each other. They masturbate, they French kiss, they're bisexual or they're sexually fluid, but they're just highly, highly sexual. But
Sounds
they
like
French kiss. Can you imagine chimpanzees French kissing like humans do? It's amazing.
Totally. Right, I'm going to get one of those.
Well, dolphins have sex
Fill in
for
the
pleasure as well. So
They do.
dolphins are the mammals of the sea that have sex for pleasure without having to mate for reproduction.
Have you ever... Okay,
And dolphins will do each other's blowholes too.
yes, and I heard they're rapists.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you, Kellie, do you also do work with people with their pets like Tricia, or do you stick with people?
It depends on the situation, I suppose. I usually set the intention that we work in the benefit of the highest good for the person who I'm reading for. And whatever that means, whether it be spirit, past loved ones, or animals that come through, spirit animals even, sometimes clients come to me with animals, but yeah, it just what it calls for in the moment. I really let spirit lead the way into what's best for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. No, I like that. Because I know that Tricia and I worked together years ago when I didn't know we were working together. We were friends and we were meeting for lunch, but I was in a rough place, and she was just sort of coming out of the closet about her being a medium at all.
Coming out of the broom closet.
Yes. And coming at me sideways. Anyway, we ended up having this basically a session, right, about a dog of mine I had years ago, which was really, really mind-blowing. And proof, I would say, like that. What's that? Evidence? You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
we
Like
call
I
it
bought
evidence.
it.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I'm a cynic. Like thing. It was probably the seed for this show back then, right? Because I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? She's gone off the deep end, and I was blackout drunk all the time, and I thought she was crazy. So I was like, oh, Tricia's insane. That's what's happened.
Well, yeah,
she
but
needs to drink more.
When there's evidences,
Yes.
and that's what it's based. It's kind of interesting, Kellie. You know, I don't know if you hear people who are mediums and their title is like evidential medium, and I'm like, okay, just medium, because that's redundant to me. If it's just a part of it, it's to actually be bringing through details that are verifiable by the client. And Kellie,
oh, I get it.
yeah.
Like, yeah. It's like there's verifiable. I love it when, well, like if you go see a party psychic, I do a ton of parties and bars and stuff like that. We have had them for years, right? Like somebody, and some of which I'm sure are great. I mean, I think a lot of people, but they're in nightclubs or whatever at a table with like Johnny Walker Black, And there's always like that moment where they're like, you have an A person that's gone,
Is there an A in their name?
Yeah. And she's looking over you. Thingamajig, it just goes all over the place.
I mean, that's not necessarily the best setting to do healing. And that's the thing is Kellie and I go about it like healing. So, not as a party trick. Right, Kel?
Yeah, generally, although it is quite fun sometimes.
It is definitely fun too.
I've heard you discuss some stuff, not just about me, but other people, that was very funny.
Of course, I would never tell.
Not telling me about their things. I mean, on the show, I've heard you saying stuff about things that I thought was funny.
Kellie has actually been tuned to spirit. Have you ever been shut down? Did you ever shut it down? Because you opened up, you saw spirit when you were a little kid, right?
Yeah, so it started when I was younger, and many evidences where my family would reprimand me, being a Catholic family, and it just got to the point that it was so scary seeing people come in how they died with gunshot wounds and nooses around their neck and things, that I just didn't want to deal with that as a 4, 5, 6-year-old. And so I begged for my clairvoyance to shut down. But the rest kind of remained intact. So all the clairsentience, clairaudience. And so it kind of reopened when I fell pregnant with my daughter, to the extent the clairvoyance, that is, where I'd be laying there having trouble sleeping, and all of a sudden I'd just get flashes and images and see people in the room, and it really pushed me to open it back up and make a career out of it. So it's when you try and tell it to go away for the 100th time and it does, and it just comes back strong, you just have to say yes, I suppose.
Wow.
And what practices did you do to open that back up? Like what does that look like? If you once you made that decision, I think I kind of saw a little bit peripherally of what Tricia was doing, but I wasn't aware of what that meant. But what did you do? What did you do to make that happen?
I think it was more that I stopped trying to block it. It wasn't necessarily opening up. We are all able to have this ability and do these things. It's just believing in ourselves and wanting and being open to receive. So instead of trying to fight it all the time, I just accepted and said, yes, I'm here and I'll do the work for it. But after that coming back online, I guess I went back into exercises you can do. So how to see chakras and auras and things like that, just to try and rebuild it, because even though I said yes, I had to put in firm boundaries of what I would and wouldn't accept. As in, I don't want any roadside victims. I don't want the imagery of such.
Oh, good. You can pick?
Yeah, you can pick. That's
how does that work?
Contrary.
I like the cafeteria style angle on this. Because I don't want the whole cosmos cruising through my bedroom at night.
Contrary to what paranormal TV shows and other, just TV shows about mediums, like, I cannot help it, but I have a message for you. No.
No? That never happens? Nobody beats you up?
Nobody beats you into... Yeah.
Speaking of dolphins, you've never been psychically molested?
That stuff can happen, but again, no, not if you have...
There must be plenty of pervs out there.
Not if you have boundaries around it.
Right? Oh, so all you have to do is be like, what? Do a little line of salt around you at night? Is this it?
That's what it is.
I would probably get all the
or
freaks. I'm sure. I would wake up getting a hand job from fucking Captain Hook. Damn it again! 15 years ago.
Can't you heat it up first? Can't you heat the hook
first? Oh, man. Living that life over and over again.
Kelly, have you ever had any spirit that are naughty like that are showing you things?
Dirty? Dirty bird?
Good tell. How did
I was actually
Spiritual flashers?
Doing a live medium. Oh, sorry. I was actually doing a live medium show in person, and one of the messages that came through was for a woman who was sitting in the audience beside her mother, and the spirit that came through wanted me to relay that she needed to masturbate more and to get in touch with her root chakra, which was rather uncomfortable. We had to kind of work around that in a way that her mother wouldn't get up and leave.
Did you mention that? Maybe just get a little more in touch with yourself, every night for a while?
And touch a certain area?
Because your root
well, she's wearing this glorious red rose dress, which is interesting because she's working on the root chakra. And I said, look, how about we just put it like this? You just need to tend to your garden a little often because it's a little weedy and we need it to bloom. And so... yeah, in the end, I just said, get a vibrator. Just get a vibrator.
Right to the
love
point.
Kelly. She's my favorite now.
Just get a vibrator.
I love that. That's it. Yeah, just cut to the chase. I mean, if spirit has cut in and said, you need to, dust that off.
Well, it's just, it's yours. It is kind of ridiculous. Dust that off.
Dust off that kitty box.
It's just it's so weird that it's your body. It's just really weird. This even struck me when I was quite young still. That we have somehow you're not supposed to touch certain parts of your body. It's the most ridiculous thing ever.
Oh, I don't remember having that. I didn't grow up a real Catholic, and I don't remember that being a thing. In fact, I could even tell you that I have the horrifying moment of my parents were hippies, and I remember my mom and dad sitting down with us and explaining to us the joys of masturbation.
Oh.
And by us, I mean me and my two sisters in our teens, who are all a year or two apart. And my mom just did this whole horrible, super overshare, which I'm sure was good parenting. And it was it's burned in my memory and almost ruined masturbation for me. It took me months to get back to it.
Wow.
Or hours.
Yeah, exactly. Or.
It was horrible. And we were just all and she was like, and we enjoy it as well. And I was like, let your child find it. Don't explain it to them.
Yeah.
That's my tip. I've stayed away from my kids.
My sister, when my nephew was starting to discover his business, and he was just like 6 years old, and you know, my family's from Texas. And so she didn't want to weird him out about it. And so she just told him that that's something that we only do in our private time. We don't do that in front of other people. It's like when we, you know, when we have no clothes on, we don't do that out in front of people. We do it in our private time. And so my little nephew is 6 years old. They were visiting in town from Texas, and my nephew was on my bed watching TV with the door open and just giving it a go. You know, just testing it out. And my sister, because she's at her parents' house, and she like walked by my room and she goes, "Logan," you know what I mean? Like she's been trying to be cool about it, but this was a bit shocking. She doesn't want somebody of the and he said, "Mommy, I think I need some private time right now."
Yeah.
So she just closes the bedroom door.
She's just left the door open. It's like a nightmare. Yeah. That's why I whistle in my house. Once I had teenagers, I started whistling everywhere I went. Whistling down the hall. Here comes Dad.
You're wearing a bell like a cat.
Yeah, like a cat. Totally. No, I just whistle everywhere I go.
Kellie's kids are still little. This is what you have to look forward to.
This is a tip for you. Just always whistle and sing a little song before you open any door in any room.
One of them's already there. She's only 6 and she's already there. And I just, you know, the conversations you thought you would never have to have as an adult. And now you're just saying, don't rub your vagina on the coffee table. And
oh, yeah. That's it. That's just a Tuesday. Absolutely.
Well, but that's the thing that we do when you're that young. I remember starting to like.
Just hump shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Just anything that can't run.
It's so weird because you're not sexually mature yet, but the nerve endings are starting to wake up.
That's
already.
when it's most apparent, when they really don't have any idea what's happening.
Yeah, because it's not sexual.
Because like 8, 9, 10, then they're like sort of aware of it.
Yeah. It's
right?
like, well, yeah, picking your nose feels good too. And you also don't want them to do that in public.
Yes.
Or I walk in on both my son and my daughter in the bathtub because they're still young enough to share, and the games that you hear them play. And I walked in one day, my son's going, I'm going to put my foot in your butthole. I'm going to put my toe in your vagina. And you're just like, get out of the bath right now. Very inappropriate.
No in. We're putting nothing in anything.
Nothing.
All right. So Spirit has talked to you about masturbation.
Yes, I love it. Well, remember I think we already talked about it on the show when we were talking about something, and what did I say that I had sort of felt this presence of a past life regression situation?
Yeah, you regressed yourself into
and I was all dick and nose.
Yeah, Cro-Magnon man.
Yeah. I just could remember. I was like a gremlin, like hobbit guy, just hunting for some ass.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. You were like, I could smell and taste food and ass.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It was like, it was excellent.
Just the usual Saturday night.
I know. Well, it was.
I think you were in an ashram having a meditation, right?
I was hoping it was a past life and not just like 2009 at the Roosevelt.
You never know.
Same kind of experience.
Yeah. The Roosevelt is a nightclub here.
And all dick and nose would have been very appropriate.
Yeah. So what are some of the other wild and wacky?
That's what I want to hear. Wild and wacky world of mediumhood.
That's the name of this stupid show.
Can you even share? Like, what's your like wackiest story? Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. This happened.
Look, there are just so many. Even pre-awakening and coming into this industry, when I first started seeing my husband, we were side by side in the bed, and all of a sudden I woke up and saw this hovering blue and grey face right over the top of his shoulder looking down on him, and it startled me so much that I ended up kicking him out of bed and yelling and screaming, and it described it to him, and he thought I was absolutely batnut crazy, and turns out that it was his grandfather coming and relaying a message, and I was like, okay, well, that's great to be of service, but let's set the boundaries of working 9 to 5 and not in the sleep time.
Not while I'm shagging your grandson, maybe.
Something that actually goes through your head as a medium is if you have privacy when you're having intimate moments, you're like, okay, I'm putting boundaries around this bedroom right now, just because I don't want any interruption.
Yeah, and I don't want my Aunt Ruth involved.
Well, and the thing is,
handing off a carrot cake recipe.
they don't really care because
What do you mean they don't care?
I do.
yeah, we do.
It certainly would be a buzzkill.
Well, yeah, spirit doesn't care though because
It's like
they're
a
like
pillbox hat sitting at the end of your bed.
because they're no longer physical, and so it's no big deal to them. And if it is about us, so like Kellie's saying to set boundaries. So if we don't have boundaries around that, and the as far as they can tell, the sign says open for business, and if we hadn't shut it down,
Literally,
yeah, then they're gonna be like, okay, like because again, they don't really care about timing, they don't care about time because they're not in time anymore, and so yeah.
how about this? And I know that I have had moments like this, and I'm certainly the thing. But I have like how about like because I do a lot of for work. I have in the past done a lot of presentations and sort of work things, and suddenly I would get super distracted by what I felt was some sort of energy of somebody in the room that was like, so you've done a bunch of spirit and did classes and lessons and stuff like that, liquor spirits, not lick spirits, and. So have you been in a professional situation where something like either great news, dirty news, or sad news like came along, and you were like, oh no, I'm trying to like concentrate on this presentation.
Kellie, that's for you.
Well, sorry, just what sprung to mind was there was a client which I had, a brand new client, and I started picking up on a parental of theirs where the energy just didn't seem quite good, but she was acknowledging that was the right person, and they replayed the murder. So this one parent had murdered the other parent, and it was still a very touchy subject that was coming to the surface to be healed within the client, and it needed to be addressed, but just how to language that and how to catch yourself in that moment to not, to be able to hold space for the person that you're reading for while still dealing with the triggers within yourself as well. It was such a gruesome moment that I just thought this is too much at the moment. So I actually asked just for a minute to get all of the information and to allow the reasoning as to why they were showing me that come through, and then relayed it in a gentle way for them. So
Wow.
it's difficult, yeah.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Or the rape victims that I deal with, I often see the incident occur, which kind of takes you back a little bit because it can get quite graphic. Spirit has a way, especially past loved ones, depending on how long that they've been crossed over for, depends on how they communicate with you. And some are very fantastic and they are able to give you feelings and images and talk to you. Others just give you symbols or signs or flashes of memories from their existence, and often they will give you some horrific scenes that take you back. Yeah.
I don't usually get the horrific scenes. I must have some barriers about it. I just get like, it'll shift to clairaudience for me. I'll just hear rape. You know what I mean? But I won't
see the image.
I won't feel or see it. Or I'll hear, child molestation. I'll just hear that. Or I will get a ping maybe in the area of the body, but I won't get the details of it. And then I'll hear whatever the injury is just in words. But I think the work that you're doing there, Kellie, that's actually really profound, because being able to actually bring light by experiencing it the way that you are, that's so helpful. And I'm a bit more selfish about it. I'm like, I'm just gonna. That's the most I'm open to is the subject.
How obligated do you feel? Sorry, go ahead.
I've created those boundaries, and I only really lean into it if I feel that it's in the benefit of the sitter.
Yeah.
So usually, if I get that messaging and it's just a random, when we're online live doing readings and I only hear the word like you do. But if I'm sitting with somebody in that space and we've created that safe circle, then I actually ask for more information and let them show it to me a bit more, just to see why they're saying that. So I guess that's my duty of care as the reader, to ensure that I can help in any way by getting the information that I need to do so. So, but I'm more prepared in the moments when I feel that initial ping of sexual abuse, and then you say, okay, well, show me more. What is this in relation to? So that's when it comes through. Yeah.
I've got a question that I know that I would consider, because I always want to do more. Like you would assume that as a client, right? As you come in, you'd be like, I need to be in the best, like, open state of mind so that they can just really clean house here. Most people are going most people, clients have a result they're looking for, right? They have an answer they want, or they're working on some relationship, finance, romance, finance, probably mostly, right?
Yeah. Life purpose, but that's
Yeah.
basically finance
All the
as
same.
well.
And that's not always true. I don't think that was the reason. For me, it was more like I was looking for serenity and answers. And so really, I guess, romance, finance. But tell me, is there a practice? Is there something, like if you were preparing to, or if you were interested in not working in this field, but being a client, what's the best? Is meditation open up people's minds? A clear mind, a rested mind, a well-fed mind, or an exhausted, burnt out mind? Like, what's the best way to go into an office or meet with somebody? You know?
What do you think, Kellie?
I believe an open mind. Too many people come in with expectation of wanting to connect with their past father, whereas working in the benefit of their highest good, they might need to hear a message from Great Aunt Jo first to
to a
level of that. So coming in to the session with the intention that you're here to heal. So setting an actual intention, so many people just come for the fun of it and don't realize how a lot of us work on the healing level. They just want the evidences and the giggles and experiences like that. Or they're not sure. They're not even in a place where they realize why they're coming. They just feel drawn to somebody. And so having an open mind can really help in that regard, because everybody works differently as a practitioner. We all have different ways of connecting and relaying messaging. And so if you're drawn to someone in particular, know that that's for a reason, and go in there knowing that you'll be taken care of in good hands, as long as you feel good in your body about it. You don't want to be drawn to somebody and then have those niggles that you don't trust them, or are they, verified readers and things like that. So do your research, have an open mind, and come knowing that you're in good hands.
And I'm sure I know that one of my fears, sorry, I'm a kid thing. I know, because I work with an energy healer, a good friend of mine, Maggie, who does energy healing, and I don't know what Reiki is the term, and it's a hands-on, practice. And there's moments in that where I don't want to get into what has come forward. I don't want to get into it, and I clearly don't. And I can usually sense that she can sense that as well. Like there's an anxiety happening, or there might even be a physical pain, like a thing. And it's like, and we've been working together for a while, but it's very palpable. And it's not the good thing for me. What's been helpful for me in that practice is to go in with a real clear mind, and again, no expectations, and kind of leave it open. But that doesn't mean I'm wide open. There is times where I'm like, I don't know if I can. We can't go there yet. Do you ever feel like that? Huh?
In that moment where you hit that wall, hit that trigger, you're still having the seed planted within your consciousness about an issue which does need to be addressed. So it's good that she senses you're not ready to go there, and she'll probably ease off with that. But it means that next time you come along, you already are aware, you've already stewed about that a little bit, you've done the work to acclimate yourself to that energy and that frequency and getting ready for that next stage of healing. So it's good that she touches upon it, but then pulls back and allows you to do it in your own time.
And I definitely think that, because I am also somebody who's, I think, intuitive, I come in with an agenda for sure that I want to get to, which is usually romance and finance, more stuff, and then more sex, more stuff. And then I, or better sex and better stuff, all of that. And then it's like, but how about we discover what's going on with your 12-year-old over here? And I'm like, damn it. So then I try to camouflage. Really, I try to do this little dance, this little like psychic dance where I like try to throw her off in my body with like something else that's super joyful. I'll do this like super fun run through a pasture moment in my like childhood.
You'll just fake. You'll just start like.
And seriously, that's how. So there's where my like sort of intuitive stuff comes.
Hilarious.
I'll be like, I'm trying to show it, and then it's like, no, we're not going there.
But here's the thing: your intention was whatever it was. Your intention was more sex, more stuff, or whatever.
Which it really isn't. It's really happiness and serenity. But that's what you go in thinking.
But even so, like whatever your intention is, if dealing with your 12-year-old, that could actually free up energy that can go to the sex and stuff.
Right. And I don't have any good answers. None. I've already proven that. But I do know that my body does take me to some good results if I stay out of the way.
Yeah.
and I have been super lucky in a Mr. Magoo way, as we talked about.
I don't know if people know who Mr. Magoo is. Someone else
Remember the
mentioned-
blind guy, the old cartoon guy?
I know who he is, but
There's people older than me listening.
I don't know if there are. Kelly, do you know who Mr. Magoo is?
My mom used to talk about it. I apologize.
Right? Your mom's cool.
Yeah.
No. Mr. Magoo or just anybody that's just Arthur, anybody, all those are all 70s and 80s references.
Arthur, I don't know.
The movie with the drunk Dudley Moore?
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally, yeah.
Yes.
That's an 80s movie.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Yes. So
Okay, so anyway. So we didn't solve the koala problem.
No.
We haven't. They really need like an essay meeting, Sex Anonymous.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because they are sluts. Lazy stoner sluts, we've already discovered.
Kelly, what was it when you opened up again? So you were already with your husband because you said you were pregnant. So what was that like? Well, your husband is Islander, right? So is there more of a kind of open spirituality with their culture, his culture? No? She's like, no, not so much.
Not so much.
But just a lot of island cultures, a lot of more indigenous cultures are more natural. You know what I mean?
Way to make her feel good about him.
They are very open to spirit. They're aware of it. They're very beautifully in touch with the land and you know all of their history. But they often used spirits as a punishment, as a form of punishment. It's like, don't stay out too late or the spirits will get you, or don't be too
like
loud
the
or the
Irish.
spirits
The
will
Irish
get
are the
you.
same.
So he is somewhat afraid of them, but he's open to it, and he's very intuitive himself. Like attracts like. He's a little clairvoyant himself without realizing it. But he supports me in everything I do, and he knows who I am at the core with integrity and honesty, and he knows that I wouldn't, you know, lie about this type of stuff. And so he believes in me and just says, if you say it is, then so it is. And he even gets in there and plays, you know, how that spirit told the lady to masturbate. He often comes out and he's just like, oh, spirit just told me we have to go and have sex.
Well done. He can use that all
so
the time.
Clever.
Yeah, like feeling that. It's good to be able to, yeah, you don't have to think about that hard.
Have you ever? I've used energy healing or whatever. I've used spirit in the bedroom before. I've Kelly, look at Kelly's like, oh yeah, yeah.
We were just
Okay.
talking about this the other day, Tricia, weren't we? About how to, like, I have a tendency to yawn when I'm going through healing process, and I have some stuff around sex because of my history, and we were talking about how to help that by bringing in energy and breath work into the bedroom before sex or during sex. And let's just say that night after we spoke was quite a very good night. And it was,
Right.
I helped her.
Yeah.
I
Did you do
helped-
some
yeah,
breath
we
work?
talked. Well, we
Yeah.
talked. Yeah, we talked about it, and
I love that.
in spirit, I felt that like some breath stuff, which she was led to talk to me about it because I was already working on this, like this message about breath work, and I'd already started doing some breath work not for sexual stuff, but actually for my reproductive organs, but similar kind of area. And so so Kelly took me into the bedroom that night. That's what she's saying.
Nice. Did your husband even know he was having a spiritual three-way?
well, it would have actually been a foursome because a few new guides popped in, like a little green elf or gnome, I think he was.
That's right. Yeah.
Ask him to move back.
So tell Aidan about. So she was doing the work. She was doing the practice, and then who did you meet?
Yeah, a green gnome, full with hat and everything. And I asked him, I said, hey, this is not the time, over my husband's shoulder. And I said, you need to go and we'll talk later. And he just disgruntledly walked into a little nook in a tree and huffed away.
Oh, love it. I love that there's just like,
So it's a four-way. Was his name Franklin? Because I have a tree. He's a tree elf or a wood elf. And his name is Franklin, and he curses. He says the F word and stuff. Have I told you about him?
Yes, you have. But
Yeah.
I didn't stop to ask his name. I was preoccupied.
She was busy. She wasn't taking names.
You
She
were
was
like-
doing a roll call.
were you self-conscious? Were you like, oh my God, I'm having sex right now? Right? Regardless of whether they don't care because they're in another plane or whatever, you'd still be like, hello, we're fucking.
Well, nature spirits like gnomes and elves and fairies, those are real. They exist. They do exist in a different light spectrum, a different spectrum of existence. Like dimensions are just basically all here. It's just a different frequency, but they're very sensual because they are composed of the elements. They're composed of the earth, and the earth is visceral. It's sensual, And
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, first of all, I'm wondering. I can hear Alona, our mutual esthetician, is going. What is Tricia talking about with these elves and gnomes? And think, what is this crazy?
And she has a sex elf.
She has a sex elf.
Don't put your phone on top of your wallet.
I know it keeps knocking
He
off.
keeps clanging.
It's a new phone. I bang it around.
So unprofessional.
Well, I like Franklin the sex elf. And that is a whole doll. That's a whole line of dolls. Maybe a vibrator. Franklin the sex elf.
All green.
And it could come in a tree.
And he
like
has
a little
hat.
tree kit.
And he has a hat, just like
penis.
a penis has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? A little hat. I think this is a line. We didn't even realize.
These light workers don't skip a beat, though. I mean, you have a look at the crystal stores now are doing the, rose quartz dildos and things like that.
Are they?
It's into the market. Yeah, there's
of
rainbow
course.
crystal, like chakra dildos that you can get. So not that I have any, but like it's there and they see the market.
I'm assuming it's polished. It's not like the
yeah, not raw.
Yeah, not a raw one, or the ones that are like chiseled to make a point. But but they are. I had my friend I have a friend, old friend, and she had a same-sex relationship for a while. It didn't take. She went back to the straight side.
A little dabble.
Yeah,
A little dabble, do you?
But I went shopping with them once for for toys, and quit coughing in the mic. It's so loud. Thank you. And but glass is
that's a thing.
Yeah, it's because it holds the body temperature.
It's kind of scary though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want it that hard.
No, but isn't it scary that it might break?
Yeah. No, I mean, they're really strong. And I guess, I mean, a crystal might be even stronger. Rose quartz is pretty strong, I think. I wouldn't want selenite because selenite is all crumbly. And it's water soluble. So you'd have to put a condom on the selenite.
I like the idea of a spiritual sex shop, too. In fact, basically, you put the word spiritual in front of anything dirty, and it sounds great. Here's that's my cap on this whole conversation.
The last episode, we actually talked about tantric sex. We talked about the breath of it.
He was great.
He was great.
Yeah.
David Gandelman. And then, interestingly, though, we talked about that last show, and it was like 2 days after that Kellie message, and we had the conversation about how to use breath to
get to there.
Yeah, to work in the bedroom.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting, and I think that everybody has a rhythm. Anybody who has a rhythm of breath that do, excuse me, when they're having sex, right?
This is something we were talking about.
Just like breath of fire. Is it distracting? Because that would bug me.
We did talk about breath of fire. We were talking about doing it before.
Oh, okay.
Preparation.
Is that what you did, Kellie?
Yes, but when I felt the yawning coming on again during, then I rezoned the energy back into the sacral and the root, and I focused on a different circulatory breathing just to calm the anxiety down, and to get more into the flow of it. So,
because nobody really appreciates a yawn in the middle of sex.
No, my poor husband.
that's just never a crowd pleaser. There's I don't think there's a niche kink for that at all. And there's one for everything. But yawning is definitely a no.
There probably is, though, weirdly.
Yeah, like I only like it when people are dead asleep. Oh, well, there is definitely a market for that.
There's that.
Bill Cosby.
Oh, no. That's terrible. Yeah, that's what Kellie was saying. That's why she brought it to me. She didn't want to. Good work, Kurt. Yeah, she didn't want to necessarily broadcast it. Well, now it has been broadcast. Kellie.
I'm an open book. If it's part of life.
There's very few stones. Yeah, well, that's it. There's very few stones unturned.
Have you ever had anyone come to you for to talk about sex? I'm trying to think. I don't think I really have had anyone have that as a main intention necessarily. Intimacy or sex and asking their spirit guides for help.
Yes, and it was like a 75-year-old woman, which was really interesting.
Oh, I
Awesome.
love it.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
She had actually 2 lovers at the time, and she was trying to decide between the 2, but
God
she
bless
said
her.
the relationship was good with one and the sex was good with the other, and she really needed to understand why and how to broaden it with each partner so that she could make a better educated decision on who to get rid of. And I said,
Well
why
done.
get rid of any of them? Like, you're in your prime.
She's living her best life. This broad. I love her. Right? If that's the only thing she's got up her sleeve that she wants to talk to spirit about at 75, well done.
Yeah.
Just well done.
That is really cool.
And
You
yeah,
wouldn't
hold on to
expect it
both.
either.
What's
Yeah.
that? Say it again.
You wouldn't have expected it either. She had the little, the little pearl necklace on, a little cardigan, and it just, when she opened her mouth to set the intention for the reading, I was taken back a little bit. Oh, okay. From some older women, you can tell they've got the gypsy hair and the rings and the jewelry, and you think, yeah, you're a wild woman at heart. But this little lady looked like she came out of Harry Potter, headmistress style. And I thought,
if you were a man or into women, you would know that usually those buttoned up little ones are the ones who are wild at heart. Right? That's the lid you want to tear off.
like the sexy librarian.
Yes. The lady who really knows how to bake a mean, lemon square. That means she just does everything right.
I think it's, I think it's great. And again, as I said, it's such an integral, it's such a normal, natural part of what our existence is. I think it's a really logical and it's a very clear-headed thing to want to talk to spirit about your sexuality or your sex experience, intimacy.
Yeah. I wonder if that would be, especially since I'm friends with all the people I talk to about this, although I'm pretty open with everybody about everything, but I wonder if that would be
Too much so.
TMI. I'm spiritually TMI. My spirits are like, we don't want to know. No, that can't go up there.
We do care.
I'm inviting all the spirits to my next sex.
My next sex.
My next sex. The next sex I'm going to invite in a whole, I'm going to make Tricia and have be basically like the door guy at my sexual spirit
Bouncer.
fuck.
No, it would be really
You can
smart.
invite a whole bunch of spirit.
But it would be really smart to actually have in your guidance team a sexpert.
Yeah.
In your spirit team. Kelly, have you ever thought of that? I think that's a really good
I have,
idea.
and he was actually too good looking for me to be able to handle. So it was he made me uncomfortable because he was this Latin sexy goddess type thing and God. And I was just like, oh, honey, I'm going to be fantasizing about you rather than my husband. You need to step back now.
Wow, that's cool.
Right on.
But this
I
lady
like
in particular that I
you're
read
gonna get
for,
you're gonna get this is both of you are gonna get a million
know.
clients. Everybody's gonna be like, I want the hot Latin spirit guide to be telling me how to fuck.
No, it's really
That is a huge market.
because we have
Phones are lighting up.
There are people who are sexual intuitives and everything, but a medium who specializes as one of her niche topics, spiritual guidance about sex. I think that's really kind of beautiful.
I do too.
well, the lady the 75-year-old woman actually was there because she had lost her husband previously. And it was the deceased husband that came through to inform her which partner to go with that was best suited for her and to give permission that she could do so, because I think she was just going into sex because she still had the need, but she was afraid to go further into more of a deeper relationship due to the grief that she had of losing him. So he came on board, told it was okay to move on. This is who we think is better for you. And she was quite happy after leaving. She had closure. She had a better idea of what's happening. So.
$1 to a donut that the dead husband, recommended the guy that wasn't so good in bed. Even from the grave, he's still making sure nobody's banging his wife better than him. For sure. He did, right? He went for the solid guy with the good paycheck.
The nice guy.
Yeah, not the guy that was rocking her world. Nobody's coming back from anywhere and saying, please go for the guy who's just killing it.
He's not cuckold from the spirit.
I would come back and be like, lose that right away. You need safety and security. Sex isn't that important.
Get a rose quartz dildo.
Nobody. Yes.
And Paycheck Joe.
And Paycheck Joe with the limp dick. I can't imagine anybody being big enough of a kind person to come back and reinforce.
I didn't cross that far into the light.
Yeah, right. I'm dead. I'm not Gandhi.
That's what's so surprising when you do pass over, is that we can represent the memories and the experiences we had in life. We can recall them, but we don't hang on to it. We don't hang on to that emotion. We've learnt the lesson. We've now just returned to the energy of who we are, which is love energy, creator energy. And we're there as the soul family still, even in death. We are there for the people who we love and had connections with in life. And whatever you can do to help those still left behind, seeing as your contract has ended doesn't mean that you can't be there for them moving forward. So I think it's really beautiful to think that even in death, we still have them around us. We get that a lot with women who miscarry children and grieve over that child that they never got to raise, whereas the child is still there with them the whole way through and will often greet them when it's their time to cross as well. So it's a really beautiful way. A mediumship can be somewhat stigmatic in the fact that it's scary, that there's dead people roaming around the plains around us, but in actual fact it's gorgeous. And I love that we're always connected, even if we're not here in the physical together. I
love that, Kellie. You're just me too. So beautiful in so many ways, and I just love the work that you do. You just bring so much to so many people. And her website, by the way, is KellieAnneNelson.com, and N-A-N-N-E. Be sure to, it's KellieAnne Nelson.
A lot of vowels.
Go check it out if you need to get off. Kellie's your medium.
Wow, that is the best. You need to make a bumper sticker of that, Kellie.
And with that, we are out of time. But thank you so much for joining us, Kellie.
Thank you, Kellie. It was a pleasure.
And my pleasure.
It was truly a pleasure. And it will be later tonight. Thank you.
All right. Well, we will see you all next week, 7 p.m. live. Find us on YouTube. We love you guys. See ya.
Love you. Thanks.